Your pain isn't permanent, kid. Your anxiety is not permanent. Your depression's not permanent. Your stress isn't permanent. These things change, these things move, okay? Look, life doesn't always give us answers, but it gives us moments and it gives us opportunities to be able to create tools, to be able to create virtues, and build lighthouses that we can use later on in life that can help guide us as long as we pay attention. That's what this channel is all about. So hit that subscribe button. I can promise you I can bring value into your life in some way, all right? So let's get into today's video. Pain is not permanent. Pain changes, pain is mobile, pain moves. It's important to keep in mind. I'm gonna read you the journal entry that I have written when I was thinking about this. I said, pain is not stable, pain is always shifting, like ants on the floor. Sometimes they stay in one place, sometimes they move ever so slightly. Now this doesn't sound important, but that is significant because it means, like these ants, pain is not stuck. They're moving in and they're moving out. And if they move, that means they can change. And if they change, that means they do not exist permanently, right? They do not exist in the same place permanently. Moving the mind away from the idea that pain is fixed was a very important shift. It's a subtle shift, but over time it is significant. You can see pain with more clarity as you understand this. So this was something that was really important for me in managing, for me in particular, my anxiety, but you can apply it to just about any type of pain in your life, is understanding that pain is not fixed. It could be physical pain. Like I said, it could be emotional pain, could be mental, right? A bunch of thoughts, but they're not fixed, right? It's understanding this idea that can help you to see pain in a new light, can help you to change your perception of pain. And that is something that's really important. One of the things that helped me with this is I started to understand the level of pain in which I was feeling. For me, it was anxiety. Like I said, for you, it could be physical pain, it could be muscle pain, it could be pain from family, it could be stress from work, it could be stress from other things going on in your life, it could be whatever the case happens to be, any type of pain. So what I started to do for me in particular was I remember I woke up one morning and I was thinking, okay, well, I was feeling anxiety at about like a 6 or a 7 for various different reasons, right? But then later on in the day, I had noticed that it was at about a 3 or a 4. And then I noticed the next day it was a 7 or 8. And then I noticed 2 days after that, it was down to like a 2 or a 3, right? And this may not seem very significant. It's like, yeah, your anxiety comes and goes and pain comes and goes and it does, right? But in that fact itself is where the freedom lies, is understanding, well, wait a minute, if it comes and goes, that means it's not permanent. That means this is not fixed. This feeling is not fixed, okay? And that was something that was really important for me to understand, that these feelings of pain and anxiety, like I said, it could be physical pain, it could be back pain, it could be pain from a family member, it could be pain from things going on at work, whatever it is, these things are passing by, right? They're moving on through. They're not staying in one place, right? As I said in the analogy in the beginning of the video, when you look at an ant on the floor or a spider on the floor, that's a good example. Spiders don't move that much. Is that sometimes you'll look at them and you can look at them for 10, 15 minutes and they won't move at all, right? It'll look like they're dead. They'll be in one spot the entire time. But then you can come back maybe an hour later and they've moved half a centimeter to the left, or to the right, or up or down, right? Now, this may seem so, as I said, insignificant, but it's not, because that shows that it moves, right? Like the spider or the ant on the floor, it moves. So you could be experiencing a certain level of pain and then later on in the day, or maybe even it takes till the next day, it's only slightly less. Now, that might sound a little discouraging, but it's actually very encouraging because it reminds you that that means it's not fixed. That means that this will change. The degree of pain in which you are currently feeling will change, right? Sometimes you just need time and perception, right? I have another video about that, about letting the storm pass before we start making choices, before we start making decisions. That storm could be anxiety, that storm could be depression, that storm could be any type of pain. Is that sometimes we just need time and perception to do the work for us, right? To help us to get us into a better mental state. We give ourselves some time, and then we help our mind to subtly shift perceptions, and we can get into a better state, right? I'll link that video down below. But my point is you give yourself time, you give yourself a perception change in understanding that this pain that you're feeling isn't fixed. No matter how subtle the changes are, even if it's just a few degrees, that means it's changeable, and that means it's fixable, okay? That means pain is fixable, kid. That means that no matter how long it's been around, no matter how intense it is not permanent, right? So one day you could feel a pain at like a 6 or a 7, and the next day you can feel it a 5 or a 6, and then the next day it can go up to an 8. But this is a very good thing because, as I said, it means it's mobile. It means it moves, right? Now, I'm not saying to get so caught up in constantly taking your internal temperature of pain. Okay, I have to make sure that I know exactly the level of pain that I'm feeling right now, so that way I can measure it later on in the day, and it has to be exact, because I got caught up in that trap too. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, just notice just a little bit more, right? The level of pain that you're feeling, right? Don't get obsessed with it. Just notice it a little bit more, and then come back to it, whether it's later on in the day or later on in the week, right? And ask yourself, is it at the same point it was when I had first assessed it, right? And I can almost guarantee you that it's not, even if it's so subtle, right? So keep that in mind, that pain shifts. It's not permanent. It's passing through. Sometimes it takes a long time to pass through. Sometimes it takes, hours to pass through. Sometimes it takes days. Sometimes it takes weeks. Sometimes it takes months. You can even say maybe a year or two. I know that's a little bit discouraging to think about, but sometimes that happens to be the case. But what's very encouraging about it is that it changes, and you can change how fast it moves through by stop trying to push it away, by stop trying to force it in a direction, right? Allowing yourself to feel whatever it is that it's feeling, but keeping in mind that is your perception that the pain is fixed, that is causing a lot of the issue, that it's not the pain itself that's necessarily causing a majority of your suffering, but rather your perception of the pain, right? At least it was for me. It might not be for you, but for me, it was the stories and the ideas and the questions surrounding that pain that was causing a large portion of my suffering. Why am I feeling this pain? What was that feeling in my side? Why did I get the headache there before? Why did I get a stomach ache before? Why did my anxiety spike out of nowhere? Why did I all of a sudden I get depressed, right? Right? Is this going to last forever? Am I ever going to get out of this? Is this going to happen again tomorrow? What if this happens at this important event that I have coming up? What if it never goes away, right? It was the questions surrounding the pain that was causing more of my suffering rather than the pain itself, right? So when you can slowly but surely step out of that idea and remind yourself that this pain is not permanent, it can help you to change your perception of it and manage whatever type of pain you're going through so much more effectively, right? Because the brain will convince you that the pain is fixed, that it's not going anywhere, and that it's going to last forever. This is not true. This is a distortion, and we have to learn to be able to step out of that idea. So pain is not fixed. It is not permanent. It is moving on through, right? So just remind yourself of that, right? That maybe one day your pain, as I said, is at a 5 or a 6. Maybe one day it's at a 7 or 8. Maybe it's a 10. Maybe it's a 1 or a 2. The fact that these degrees change and these numbers change show that pain is movable. And if it's movable, that means it's not fixed. And if it's not fixed and permanent, that means we can change it, right? That means we can change. We can move out of pain in time, right? Everybody's solution to get out of that pain is going to be different, right? I'm just saying, remind yourself that the pain is not fixed. So when you're in those moments and your brain is convincing you that this is going to last forever, it's not. It's going to shift, right? It's going to change. And if it shifts and it changes, that means we can come up with a solution to change it into what direction we need it to change into, right? So I hope this helps. Hope this brings a little bit encouragement into your life. I'm a brand new channel, as I said, and I'm looking to bring value into people's life with a ton of tools and resources that I've gathered over the years through movies, through books, through things I've heard, through things people said in conversations. So I'd appreciate any support that I can get. And these videos and I will be here if you need me. Shifting, I just kept shifting. The amount of times that I shifted from the couch to hit the record button was probably 1,048. And talk about shifting. I'm keeping these in. All right. Well, we'll get there. We'll get there.